Hey everybody, it's Friday night. I was just in here feeding the tanks, and I want to do a little update on my Gourami tank here. If you follow along, you know that I've got a sick Gold Gourami in here. She's got some sort of bloat or edema, water retention of some sort. I'm not really sure what's going on with her, but I don't expect her to be with us for too much longer. And I keep checking on her because if she does pass away, I don't necessarily want a dead fish floating in my tank for any length of time. So every time I come in the room, I always do a check to make sure she's still with us. And indeed she is, but she is where she typically is, which is floating in the back behind my plumbing, up there in the corner. But look at what you can see swimming around all over the place. I looked in there looking for her, and lo and behold, I found all these little guppy babies. So I know that I'd put a female guppy in this tank a while ago. I did that for the purpose of having all of the little babies devoured. I took a female guppy. I don't know what I was thinking when I did it, but I sprouted guppies afterwards and had little babies everywhere. So the best course of option there was to put the females in a tank where some other fish were going to prey on the offspring. And this was the tank, and everything was going fine. I got rid of most of the babies. I was down to just the female guppy swimming around, and everything looked perfectly okay. And here we are. It's been a couple of weeks, and now I've got little baby guppies swimming around in the tank again. You know, I honestly don't even remember whether or not the guppy really is still in this tank. I vaguely remember pulling her out because I didn't think the gouramis were eating the babies enough. And I put her over in my angelfish tank where the babies getting devoured is no problem at all. So I've got two female guppies in that tank, and I know that I've got two female guppies in that tank, but I thought for sure I'd pulled the female out of this tank. So either those babies got deposited in here before I swapped her over into the angelfish tank, or I'm mistaken and there's still a female guppy swimming around in this tank. I guess that's what you get when you have as many tanks and fish as I do, and you make as many changes and experiments and so on and so forth. You tend to lose track of what's what and who's where and so on and so forth. So I don't know if I've got a female guppy in here who's still dropping babies, or these babies are survivors from before. But if they're surviving now, and they're already that big, and they're not being eaten by the Moonlight gouramis, then chances are they're going to continue to grow, and I'm going to wind up with a whole bunch of gouramis. A whole bunch of guppies here in my gourami tank. I wish I had a whole bunch of gouramis in this tank rather than a whole bunch of guppies. Excuse me. Oh, I swallowed the wrong way there. Anyway, make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss anything else I've got coming up. You don't want to miss the saga of the baby guppies in my gourami tank and find out whatever happens with them. Find out whether or not I've even got my females in here or not. And I'm also been watching very closely this Moonlight gourami here in the back. You can see how thin she is. She's not looking good either. I don't know if that's merely just harassment and stress because of the other gourami in here being the dominant one, or if, likewise, she's just getting old and wearing out and looking kind of sickly and thin. The gouramis in this tank are about 4 years old now, and 4 to 6 is most of their lifespan. So considering, these guys started in my early days when I was still well under my learning curve, maybe they went through some rougher conditions earlier in their life. The fact that they've lived 4 years is all right with me. I really feel like I've already gotten a good long lifespan out of my gouramis. So not really sure what's going on with her. I'm going to chalk it up to old age because I don't really know what else to think it might be at this point. But we'll have to wait and see how she does. So thanks for watching. Once again, make sure you're subscribed. That way you won't miss any of the interesting stuff I got going on in this tank or anything else. Don't forget, this is my gourami tank. Thanks for watching this one. I'll see you real soon in the next one.